Good day, everyone. It is my pleasure to present to you my action research, which is entitled Utilization of Comic Strip as a Teaching Strategy in Improving Science List Master Competencies of Grade 10 Students of Rosario National High School. I am Preacy Ann B, Llantos, a Grade 10 Science teacher. And for the context and rationale, comic strip in science is effective in teaching students who needs help in improving its academic performance. Comics represent an excellent way of encouraging children to think creatively. It could also be used not only in science but also in other subject areas. The great potential for comics in science education and knowledge can be seen clearly. Chessman 2006. Hence, the use of comic strips will be a best strategy in improving the academic performance of students and will create a successful teaching and learning process. Comic strips, according to Mozumdar of 2016, comic books, often called comics for short, are diverse in content, genre, appearance, and the reading audiences as any other type of medium. Comics are an art that is generally visible in daily and weekly newspapers and provides ideas for movies and television programs. Proponents of comics have supported their use as a medium to cover a variety of topics as an aid in vocabulary building and as a motivational material in increasing the interest in reading. The characteristics of comic strips are the following. First, we have the narrative, wherein comics are mostly a narrative medium. The narrative is either humorous or serious in context and is presented in the form of pictures and text, either of which are quite satisfactory without the other. It is the interdependence of the visuals and text that is comics' most distinguished characteristic. The narratives are essential in pictorial in nature and typically involve dominance of visuals over the textual information. Next is the panels. Narrative in comics is presented to the reader in a sequence of frames or panels. Panels in a comic book act as a sort of general indicator of time or space being divided. The third one is juxtaposition of panels. An important characteristic of panels in comics is the spatial arrangement of the panels in this medium, which differentiates comics from other forms of media such as television and films in which the panels are sequential in time. And the next one is gutter and closure. Comic books include interplay of visuals and text presented in panels juxtaposed throughout the pages of the medium. The space between the panels is at the very heart of comics. This space between the panels in comic books is called the gutter. The reason behind the efficacy of comic strips as teaching tool is that it engages students of different learning styles and engaging multiple senses at once. Comic strips help students practice essential skills like reading, understanding visual concepts, and understanding context clues, speaking, and ultimately communicating complex ideas in the span of 3 to 4 panels. It also evokes thought about provocative issues and can help students understand highly complicated matters in a condensed and succinct form. The research questions are: what is the pretest mean scores of students in science? What is the post-test mean scores of students in science? And is there a significant difference in the pretest and post-test mean scores of the students? For the methodology, the study incorporated a quantitative-descriptive method utilizing the pretest-posttest design with only one group of students as a subject of the study. It uses non-random or purposively sampling technique and engages 30 grade 10 students where data gathered by the use of 30-item standardized test and the data were then compared, analyzed using quantitative-descriptive method and z-test to samples for means. For the findings, for the research question 1, here is the mean score, which is equal to 14.3 for the pretest score of the grade 10 students. And for the findings for research question 2, the post-test scores of the students got a mean score of 21.3. For the findings of research question 3, which shows the standard deviation for the pretest, which is 3.55, and the post-test of 4.18 standard deviation. And it resulted to 0.05. If the p-value is less than 0.05, the result will be rejected. is null hypothesis, and the decision will be, or its interpretation will be significant. And for the conclusion, the results reveal that the modification in the teaching learning process, strategies, and materials with the use of comic strips in teaching science highly affected and decreased the least mastered competencies of grade 10 students, and the effects on the academic performance of the students were remarkably high. Thank you very much.